Hey everyone, welcome to a RenderSpaz video tutorial. Today we are going to model and render these cool looking smart rings and then just kind of lay them out here as like a product shot. What I've done was I've pretty much got a concept image and I just use this as reference and to give me some ideas, and I came up with this ring as the result. We're going to work on some of the modeling the entire ring and the materials and the lighting. We're all going to do that in this tutorial. So let's get on with it and begin creating our basic shapes. Alright, so we're going to bring up our render view window here. I'm going to just do something a little bit different. I'm going to have this running on the side, and then I'm going to have kind of a render going as I'm modeling as well, or a render view, just so we can start to play with materials in the early stages of things and just try to get some ideas flowing here. So I'm just going to go with a standard or just a preview settings, nothing too big. Let's go 500 by 500 with the width and height, and we can dock it over here in the side. Alright, you don't have to do this. I usually don't work this way. And sometimes I do if I'm building a car or something like that. I want to see the reflections. I want to kind of get an idea of what it looks like with some lighting and all that set up with it. So I'm kind of doing the same thing here. Mainly we're going to focus on modeling and then get into more of the rendering later on. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our, we want to start with a tube instead here, not cylinder. Okay, we're just going to drag this out in the middle. We're going to create our ring section here. So we're just going to bring this out, get a little bit of a thickness going. Alright, and then we're just going to get some height there. And we're just going to make sure we're center here in the grid, zero everything out, and come up top to the modification panel here, and then just bring everything to 1, 1. And I believe we can just work with 18. 18 side should do. And so what we're going to do is we're going to try to go to the top sections here, and we're going to just do an extrude. We're going to extrude this up and try to get a squared off shape here. So you can see it with the grid. You can kind of get an idea that we can move this upwards and have everything kind of blend nicely here. So let's go do that, and let's move over to a spot where we can see everything clearly here. Alright, something like that. And what I want to do is let's just change the naming to ring. So we're going to go editable poly. We're just going to grab these faces here. This one here. If we hold shift and drag up, we use the scale tool to just flatten this all out on the Z. Alright, and so we got something like this. If we taper in, so we got a little bit of a bend here, so I'm just going to fix this. Give me 1 second here. Let's grab these guys as well. Let's do the same thing. So hold shift, drag up, then we'll use the scale tool and switch this down in Z until it's flat like so. And we just wanted to keep that curvature going, and then it just kind of goes into the square part. Okay, so that should do. But what we got to do now is grab one side here and let's drag this out so we get a little bit of thickness and try to just get it close to the image here, like this. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to split this ring in half so we can use the symmetry modifier. So we're hit ring and connect. So we're just going to delete out the 1/2 here. Alright. We're going to come over, we're going to add our symmetry. And we're going to want to bring this out here. Flip this, like this, this way instead. Okay, then we're just gonna, I'm gonna go back to this stack here. Bring it under. No. Let's not do that. Let's go over to Edible Poly. Let's grab these guys. Okay, like so. I'll just keep losing my. There we go. And then we're just gonna angle this like this. Okay. We'll just bring this back out, and this way, the top section is now tapered, and kind of widens out at the top. That's what we're looking for. Okay, and now we just have to go into the intersections here of the ring, and let's just grab this and just hold shift and extrude towards the center, and now we have to weld with the symmetry, so that should just all come together there. Alright, so we have a pretty simple shape. We got something now that we can work with, and now we can add some edges here onto the sides and all that. So we're just going to have to now come up into, let's see here, our Edible Poly here. Okay, and what we're gonna do is select these edges. I'm just gonna, actually, before I do that, I'm gonna grab these guys and let's just flatten them out. Okay, because you can see on the top it is flat. So I'm just gonna use our scale tool and flatten it right out. So maybe let's get it so that we can just see a little bit of that top edge there. And I can take this top edge, select all of them like so, and let's see here. Let's just bring it up. Maybe something like up in here, like so. Okay, so we're a little bit, it's a little bit wonky here on the sides and uneven, so we're gonna have to deal with that. So, because if I bring it out here and then round it off, but you can see it looks very strange. So because we did the, we squeezed that top section, it's kind of messed with the faces here. So we can easily fix that. It's not a problem. We can just select, or select the whole ring here. We just want the front face here, like so. What we're going to do is just use our scale tool. We're going to flatten it back out, and then we're just going to go back with that taper look that we're looking for again. And now everything should be straightened out and looking good here. All right, we can mess with the scale a little bit later on here, but if I just grab all these guys, maybe I just fix it now because it's a little bit too skinny. So let's bring that back out. What we're going to do is select these edges, we're going to bring them in so it kind of rounds things off. Or actually, maybe before I do that, I'm going to actually, let's just drag this. Let's just rotate that maybe a little bit more inwards. I don't want to take a chance of messing up the top section, so I think that will work. So once we add the open subdivisions, let's increase our iterations just a bit here. It's quite high, but it's good enough for us to start to add some details and some nice beveled edges. So I'm going to go to an Edible Poly, or I'll just use this one here. We're going to select the edges here, and we're going to do a chamfer. Okay, we're going to switch it to try so we get it just like so. If we hit play here, you can see we're going to get some of those edges there working. You can see the highlights there, and that's what I'm looking for. That's just without the open subdivisions. What I'm going to do next here is I want to just get a sky dome light in here just so we can start to build a little bit of our lighting now. So when I'm working with the beveled edges and start to add those details, I'm going to see the nice highlights. So I'm just going to go over to our sky dome. Let's just add it into the scene here, and let's just change over. Our color management's good. Okay. It's going to come down here. Let's see. Where are you? I'm just going to go to texture and let's add a map in. So the map we want to do is, let's see, no. Oops, daisy. Clear that out. Let's go over to OSL and do environment. There we are. HDR environment. Let's put that in. And let's go from there. Okay, so now let's just drag that into our material slot here. And now what I want to do is just kind of bump up the exposure. Let's see, about 1. Let's just get this a little bit bigger here. And then we can kind of play around here, just bringing up the exposure. It's a little bit too dark. And the contrast up a little bit so we can see a little bit more of the detail of those walls back there. So this should help. But then also I want to just increase exposure to the light intensity itself too as well. Kind of doing a double hit here. But what we're doing now is just getting a nice balance between the two. And we have now something that we can work with. So I also just want to create a standard surface, and we're going to call this base. What we're going to do is just drag this guy in. And just so you are aware, I'm going to work on those edges in just a moment. So I did apply it, but then removed it. So we're going to get back into that again. I'm just going to get a light setup here going. And what I've noticed too, there we go, so it's looking good. We've got some highlights. So now we can try to understand our surfaces and what we're working with here. And now we can start to add those details in. And you can see even the cornering and everything. We just want to get all this areas all finished. So we're going to start to now work with getting some details. So let's select these edges once more. As we get them like that, we double click, and now we have a nice beveled edge. Okay, like so. Okay, so you can see the difference there. Somehow I lost it there. Let's see, go back to editable poly. Click. Oh. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to select all these edges all the way around like so. So you have something like this, they're all beveled. And then we just have a little issue here, so we just got to fix that by taking our target weld and just putting him in here. Okay? Okay, so now we're just going to target weld those guys together, and we're going to do this side as well, just so everything kind of evenly works together. It's all welded. So now we can go back in. I'm just going to use the open subdivision again one more time here, and we should now be in the clear here with adding more detail. This is looking good. Just got to go back. For some reason I just was having some issues with Max. I had to restart, but everything's working good now when it comes to selecting these edges. And now we're going to bevel these one more time, so everything should be good. Okay, good. So now we're starting to get a nice rough shape here. Alright, so let's see, I want to just make sure that I'm going to, where is it here? Okay, yeah, it's a nice line display off. And just want to see the polys. So, bring the iterations down. Just going to work in a lower mesh here, or quality mesh. And we can see it's really sharp in this area, and it's very rounded off. But then what I also want to do now is start to add this glass piece in the top. So this is really going to be kind of our main sections, and you can see there's these little details that I want to keep an eye out for, which, like, you got that flat edge area, some glossy black material, and then the glass part itself where our display is. So we're going to focus on this area here. We're going to get that roundness going on and nice beveled edges. So let's start doing that by selecting these top faces here. So I'm going to select each one of these, like so. Okay, I want to keep a little bit of space here, so I think at this point, we can, let's see here what I want to do. I'm going to go inset, yeah, let's inset it a bit, maybe something like this. Okay, and then we'll bring it up, holding shift, and we're going to have these faces here. We don't want them to go with our symmetry. I mean, technically you could just have the symmetry weld these together, but that's okay. I'm just used to cleaning it up like this. So however you want to do it, I'm just going to scale this down flat and then just bring it out a little bit. And it should weld nicely. And symmetry would do that. I think it would pretty much just weld everything together, even if you didn't remove those faces, but that's alright. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. Alright, so we definitely want to take the beveled, tapered edges into consideration here. So let's see here. We're going to grab these faces on the top. And what we're going to do is we're going to come over to actually these edges. Better yet, let's do the edge. Just because I want to bring them in. Bring this one in as well. Or can we, yeah, you can't scale. Okay, let's grab these guys. Obviously, just bring it in. I'm going to do this by eye because I can just compare those edges here. This back edge to this, that looks by eye. That looks pretty good. I think that's all we're going to need to do here. And now, let's. We're going to start to work on those corners there, but let's see here. Let's go to grow. So we have it like this. I'm going to detach this as its own piece. I'm going to call this screen. Okay. Something like this. What we're going to do is come over and center our pivot, and then what we're going to do. I'm going to copy over this stack here of the open subdivisions and the symmetry. Now we're just a little bit off here. Let's grab these again. I'm going to isolate this, turn these guys back on. Let's just increase our iterations a bit. And so we're just going to create an inset. Alright, so once we have all these guys selected, we can hit inset and just bring them in like this. So just by taking out the symmetries for now, we can add that back in a minute here. I also see a problem on the one side that we'll have to address here in just a minute. And we can also do that with symmetry. So just going to hold shift and scale inwards and out, and then just bring this up a bit just to kind of start rounding these corners off. I'm going to grab this edge and bring it, scale it outwards a little bit and down, just to get some rounds going here. Hit chamfer. Let's just give this a try. There we go. Okay, so once we have that, we're going to paste this guy back in, and we can see that we're getting a nice smoothness all the way around. we also now have to fix this part here where I was just missing some. When I detached this element, I did not grab that one side of faces, so we'll have to fix that. I'm not worried about it right now. So I think what we're going to do is come over. Let's fix this now. Let's go to symmetry. So flip. Okay. Let's bring it back. Okay, just kind of see if we can get this thing to weld here. It's alright, I'm just going to squeeze it in here like so. Let's just bring it in. Convert this to edible poly. And we're just going to paste back our symmetry and subdivisions. And there we are. So everything's working well now. So now I can grab this guy and let's just start to bring it up a bit and hold shift and just get an edge. So we just want a little bit of an edge down there. As you can see, it would be like it's being placed on top. We don't want it to sink into the geometry, into the base part of the ring. So I want to create a little bit of an edge down there for detail. Grab this guy here. We're going to just hold shift, or actually, we're going to scale it on the Y and then just bring it a little bit outwards here. Okay, we can do the same thing here. Actually, I'll just delete it back out. And bring the symmetry back in here. Oops. There we go. Bring it in. So yes, I knew this was going to happen. I have this piece here where I have to fix. Alright, we can fix that, not an issue. It happens. So let's grab this guy here. Back out, and yeah, of course, it's because I pushed it back in here just to try to get the middle section to weld, but we can just kind of go like that, okay? That'll work. Alright, now we're starting to get somewhere here. We have a nice looking glass element piece here now, and now we can start to focus on the edges here and start to round some things off. But this is looking really good so far, so I'm very excited. And then we'll get into the knob part, or that little button there, and start adding that into as well. So there's going to be a little bit of things to do here on the way. And I also want to round off that corner here. You can see it rounds off. This one's pretty strong, so we're going to have to like go in and try to like move these guys around a bit and get them a little bit softer of edges. And we're getting into that. So let's start doing that now. Okay, so I'm just going to grab these edges here and just kind of pull them out just a bit here. Go to edge mode and just slide them around here. This will round off this corner just a bit. Okay, just don't want to have too much of a bend coming in. I do want to implement some of that, almost like that hard face there that you see, where the corner just kind of comes out and then it just goes flat there with that silver piece. So we do want to keep that in place a little bit, but maybe just round this off just a bit more and get something a little bit more interesting here. Okay, I'll worry about the other side in just a moment here. And also I just want to fix up here. Let's see if I grab this guy. Oh yeah, I'm just going to, before I do all this, let's just remove that. Let's create a symmetry. moment here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is just do these adjustments real quick. I'll bring this out so it's a little bit more rounded here. We'll push this down because we're going to just thin this out just a bit. Grab these points and get something a little bit more in shape here. Bring this guy maybe in a little bit. Let's just do some adjustments and go. Let's see, if I was to grab these edges here and connect. Yeah, the only thing is I don't really want it to be too hard in the corner in that area there. I want it to be rounded. So I'm going to keep it the way it is, but I want to be able to fix some of this area up a bit. But this guy's too, oops, this guy's in too much. So let's make sure we don't have our constraints on. Let's just kind of move this out a bit. What we're going to do is we're going to just push this in Y with the scale tool here, and then we just need to, it's going to fix this guy up a bit here. So bring these out a bit. So now we're starting to get that nice little flat edge here. And it's rounded in the corner a little bit better than it was before. But I do want to fix the way this topology is here. So if I make a cut here, I just want to get a little bit more quads going here. I can add a whole edge there and remove this guy. So now we got our quad. And I'm going to come over, let's see here. And we're going to try to, get this a little bit more flat here, but what I want to do here is I want to get a piece to come out, some detail on this band. So I do a chamfer here. Okay, then I'm just going to take this guy, target weld it here. And let's just bring this guy out a bit. So it kind of matches this profile, going all the way around. Same here a little bit too, just bringing it out. This is a subtle change here, but nothing too bad here. So now, let's see here. Just gonna grab this whole corner. Actually, let's bring this inwards a little bit more. So you're just going to remove that whole entire edge. That cleans it up a bit. And then maybe just let's rotate this way maybe a little bit and then bring it in and see what that does. Whoop. So we got to make sure we do not grab that point. Let's try that again. I'm really just going to try to move some shapes around freely here just to see what type of interesting shape I can get here. It's not too bad. I think if I grab this guy here and just bring it out, and maybe that guy's a little bit too sunk in, so just bring this out a little bit too. Just kind of clean this up. Okay, maybe bring that up a bit. Forward, get them away from each other a bit just to soften this area up. There we go, and that just want to keep everything kind of clean here. Remove that edge. Sometimes when you have too much going on there, it's just too starts to get a little bit bumpy when you have a lot of edges close to each other that are not needed. This will keep it clean. And yeah, so I added an additional cut here just to finish off the way this edge goes around. I'm just going to bring this guy down a bit, and now we've got that nice rounded shape here at the face. So I'm just looking at the reflections here just to see how that reflection in the render view, how that moves across the surface. And I just pull these guys a little bit further from each other here, just to round that off as well. So just going to grab these guys are a little bit. These guys are a little bit sunk in, so let's just make sure we don't have our constraints on, and then just kind of pull them out so it rounds it off. And then I'm going to grab all these faces here. Now we're going to make a big move here. I'm going to grab all these faces that are along the face of the band. Right here. Just going to get them all. I don't want to get that other edge, just the front area here. And we're going to inset, so we get an additional edges all the way around, a nice edge loop. We got the center there we have to deal with. Just going to do a little bit of cleanup here. Let's grab all these outer edges here. We don't need them. Grab this guy and just flatten it out. Bring it a little bit forward. There we go. You can see that's starting to look good. So what we're going to do here now is grab this outer edge all the way around our face of our band that we've created with our inset. And then I'm going to use the crease tool and just give it a little bit of a crease. Hold on, let me just try that one more time. So make sure everything's working here. Actually try this outer one. Yeah. We weren't seeing the effect in the in that inner edge. This outer edge seemed to work better. It gives us a little bit of a nice little bit of a crease. So let's grab all of these guys now. This is where I want to make my cut, or I'm going to detach this piece. Let me just get rid of this guy. Sorry about that, guys. Let's move this out. So before I do this move, I'm just going to grab that guy out a little bit more. That should do it. Alright. I think we're good now. Let's grow it one time here and detach. There we go. So now we're just going to paste our stack here with the open subdivisions and symmetry. And now that should all work on the other side once we, let's see here, and copy, paste it in there. Okay, we got a little bit of a gap, not a problem. Just bring it inwards a little bit. Okay, make sure you're at 0 and Y. That should seam together nicely. Okay, and now we have something like this. So what's going on here is we just have to get these guys to weld up with each other in the symmetry. So let's just grab them all, make sure we have them, zero it out. Okay, straights are on. What's going on here? Okay, I just got to push it in. Very nice. All right. So let's take a look here. What we got to do. So we're going to bring out some type of piece here where it extrudes out. So let's do that by selecting these faces. We only have to worry about one side here. We're going to inset one time here, and then we're going to bevel outwards. And whoa, that's a little touchy. Okay, hold on a minute. Let's try to use the display here. Just gonna move these guys out. Should probably just keep it like this. You can see it goes all the way around. That's looking good. We got just a little part here that we're going to have to delete these guys out and just bring them in. So it's going to grab these faces here. We don't need the other ones on the side, just bringing it in. And maybe we'll grab it, flatten it out. There we go. Nice and clean. Looks good. We're starting to get some shape going now, and we also have that nice little outer edge as well that we can work with here. There's a little additional piece that we can create some kind of detail here. Maybe we'll make this like a metal framing around this little extruded piece that we have now. So let's create an edge. So we're going to want to build, bring this in. So we just want to kind of get like a seam going here at the edges. So I'm going to drag this out a bit, and we just need to, we'll check it off. Let's go over here, grab that edge. Okay, make sure it's working all the way around. And what we're going to do is go over to our chamfer tool and start to drag this out a little bit so we get some type of edge that'll work for us here. That's good. Great. Alright, let's have a look. Okay, everything looks like it's still in place. We're going to get that nice little edge. Let's see if the highlights are working here on our viewport, and it is. We're in our render view. You can see you get that nice edge there. Alright. So now we're just going to work on our outer edge here where the element, or this extruded piece comes out. So we're just going to make sure we have a nice extruded edge on here as well. So just want to, we got a little bit of a vertex that got away from us here. Let's bring it back in this position here. I'm going to grab all these edges here. So I got that one too. I'll remove that. I think we have everything here. Yep. Looking good. Looking good. Let's extrude. We went a little bit bizarre with the settings here. Let's just kind of dial back everything. Just bring this out. The negative. Let's add another one. Let's see what we can do. The thing is, it kind of tapers out. I don't want it to do that. I want it to come back in. Oh, actually, I know what we can do here. We'll just in Y, we'll just bring it in like this. Now, by doing that, we just want to make sure that everything kind of goes uniform. We're dragging our edge out. So if I drag it out like this, but then we just got to worry about our top area here. So I'm just going to unselect those guys, those edges, and just bring this edge down like that. Right, and that will kind of give us a little bit more of a uniform extruded edge there. So let's see here. So yeah, that's working. That's got a nice crease to it. That will pick up some light, some highlights there. It'll look like a separate piece. And actually what we can do now, just want to fix this up a bit. I like how sharp it is there. So I'm going to remove that edge. So I think that's what's getting us there. Just to clean it up. So if we do remove an edge, we're going to have to do it on our element thing here too as well. So let's grab, you can see that edge there. We're just going to make sure that's removed so it matches. And now, both of those guys should be going. fine. Everything's working good with the open subdivisions. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Yeah, I think what we want to do here is get a hard edge going on here. So I'm going to grab, or just tighten it up. Just crease it a little bit more. So, I'm going to use the crease tool to save some polys here, or should I just... Oh, you know what? That works. So just got to bring your iterations up, but that gave us a nice little crease. And, nice. All right. So we are getting very close to being, well, finished with the modeling part of things. There is a couple of things I still want to do here, but I think we're safe to say that we can start to apply some materials and get like a simple studio scene going. Yeah, I think we can do that now. All right, so let's start adding some material, like our blacks, glossy black part for the body here. So we're gonna just drag it over here so we can now apply it and see what's gonna happen here. So if we go to a black, something like that. This is gonna be a pretty straightforward material. There's nothing really to it here. But also, I want to fix the HDR. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit change. I want to change the material or map. We want to come down over to the color correction node, but what I want to do is let's use Arnold's color correction. So I'm going to drag it over here. Let's see. No, I used the wrong one. Color correction. Okay, so keep. And so now we can start to, let's just bring down that saturation so it's black and white. We have no color into the HDR map itself. I don't really want to have that going on. I just want to rely on the coloring of our lights that we're going to add later on. So right now, once we're in position here, we just gotta, let's see here. Yeah, let's find our gloss black material. And we're going to come down, let's see where I'm looking here. We gotta go back up to our coat. Let's go to 1. Now what we got to do is mess with our specular. It's a little bit high with the roughness, so let's just bring it down roughly. I don't know, maybe we can just zero it out for now. I think we need, just want it to be high gloss. Alright, so we can copy off this material. And this one, we can call this base. Or better yet, let's call it maybe body. Okay, for the body color. This one, we can name this one glass. I'm just going to drag it over to the glass. And now let's go to the properties here, the transmission, put it to 1. Maybe for now, because we don't have any thickness, we can just do thin wall. But let's just see what that's going to do. Actually, before we do that, I want to be able to see through. So to do that, we got to just go into sampling here. Let's bring up our ray depths to about 4 for now, just for preview. And now we can see through that glass. You can see a lot of refraction going on there. It's distorted look. So we'll have to deal with that in just a moment. But actually, if we let's try using a shell and see if we can fix it up a bit. Could we have a shell underneath our open subdivisions here with that just a little bit of thickness there, and that actually helps. So now we got some parts here that seem to now have no distortion through the glass. So that's good. So when we put our display in there, it's going to work out. So it's going to just bring down the transmission a bit, so that's about 0.5. So we get a little bit of like a smoke glass look going here. So that should do for now. Okay, it's starting to look pretty good. reflections are looking good. So what we're going to now do is focus on some of these, let's see here. Let's get the band part here that we've worked on. Let's get something going on here. So now, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for the detail in that area. But before we do that, I will just drag out another surface material here, and we will now change this over to band. So we've got a band. And I want to just drag this guy out over here. We can just bring this to more of a gray for now. Okay, just to kind of see the difference. I'm going to bring up our specular roughness so that we can start getting more like a, oh, it's like a rubber or just a more like a matte finish. Our coat, we can technically just zero it out for now. And let's see here. We also have that additional piece that we'll work with in a minute here that goes around our little band element there. Before I do that, I just gotta take a look here. I just want to bring this down just a bit. Thin it out. Not too high. Just gonna bring this edge out a little bit to round up this corner. Whoops, let's get rid of that guy. Oh my goodness, here we go. Let's grab this one here too. Here we go. Just gotta fix. Actually, let's add a chamfer here, just to create a little bit of an edge on the top. And I just want to make sure this guy's a little bit more straighter. I'm gonna do it in Z. There we go. There we go, and that's looking good. Alright, so let's go into our symmetry here, and what I want to do is I'm gonna just work with this one side. I think I'm going to deal with that button a little bit later. I really want to put it in now, but I think now what we can do is focus more on the sides. I was thinking about just adding it, but let's just wait, because it would be something that we can do for the final touch for that button. So inside here we have it all hollowed out. So what we need to do is we're going to have to create a face in here that we can use for our internal parts. So let's, I'm just going to go to performance mode real quick here so we can see it in gray. Okay. Alright, so let's select these outer edges and then just hold shift and bring it down in the Z. One more time. So we have this edge. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to hold shift in the scale, get a little bit of an edge going on here. And then just grab this guy and bring it out a little bit just to make it more even. It's not that big of a deal here. Okay, so like that, hold shift. Actually, no. Just go to your scale tool, and actually all we have to do really is just take these guys. No, let's just take these edges. Let's just bring it out in the X. What's going on here? Okay, it's okay. Don't worry about the middle right now. I'm just going to bring it out over here. So like this. And just take this edge here. Just flatten it out. Just kind of grab it in the Y and just bring it in. Alright. Great. So we have this now. Right? So now I think we just have to, we have a little bit of to do some welding in this area here. Just where these guys are, or just bring it forward. Let's see here. Let's grab this whole edge. It's a little bit further back. And we just want to, I don't know, zero it out. Just bring it out here. And grab these guys and collapse. There we go. Nice and welded. That should take care of that. There we go. So now we got this inside face, and now we can bring back our display glass there. Oh, it's looking good. So what we're going to do with this piece here is I want to add a little bit of detail just around the band section here. Just in the middle. I just want to get some kind of indents or something going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase, or actually no, we're going to decrease the iterations of the open subdivision. And then we're going to go to an editable poly stack here, and we're just going to grab, I'm just going to grab some of these edges here, this, and loop. Oh, we're still going to grab that guy. I'm just going to loop. Let's just loop this guy as well. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to go to our vertice mode here. Let's deselect some of those vertices. So just where we're getting the uniform area, or where it starts to kind of go down like that. We just want to, yeah, it comes all the way around. Everything's selected here. Whoops. Actually, we're not going to worry about that side, because we're going to use our good friend Symmetry that's going to then do all the modifications and mirror it on the other side later. So let's focus on these vertices. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try to bring them in, but I want to just get some kind of pattern going here. So I'm going to go to our face mode. So all our faces are selected here. We're going to come over into our bevel tool, and we are now going to just go over to make sure that we are on poly mode. So we're going to go to poly by polygon, and then we can then drag this down just a bit into the negative space here, so that it gets, we want also depth as well. So we can use our depth and also our bevel to taper it in to get it close to the middle here, like so. Okay, so we get roughly something like this. And now we're going to go into our vertice mode by holding Control and clicking on the vertice selection tool. That way we can now select them all and just weld all those points together, so we get them all in a single vertice, and you get something like this. So that's going to give us that kind of crisscross, cool looking pattern there. But what I want here is, I'm not liking the depth, so I want a little bit more depth. So let's just kind of undo what we've done there until we get back to the bevel selection. So I'm going to keep undoing, just maybe, let's see here. Actually, yeah, this will probably work. And then we're just going to bring it in, a little bit more depth. Okay, let's exaggerate it just a bit so that when we apply our open subdivisions, we'll actually see a little bit more some depth there. So I'm going to do the same thing that I've done before. We're going to use the vertices, go to vertice mode, select those vertices, and we're going to weld them together. So we're just going to bring our weld threshold up, so it snaps like that, and now you have this kind of cool looking pattern. Let's just go back and add another open subdivision on top of this. Okay, if we increase it a bit, yeah, we get a little bit more of a bump going through like this. It's softer, but there's a little bit more depth. I believe that's going to work for us here. So what we can do is we'll go and do now our symmetry. So let's kind of just check this real quick. Yeah, this will work. So we're going to have to create an editable... actually, no, I think we just do symmetry, and that should just... Yeah, that's all we have to do. So we just got to bring it underneath our open subdivision. We're going to then... what I think we do it now at this point is in Y. Or, sorry, no, we're going to go back to X and flip it. And then that's pretty much it. So everything should be matched and mirrored. Okay, so we're just going to drag out a plane here. And we're going to start to get our studio setup going here, so we can do all the finishing touches as we close up this tutorial. So let's drag these guys out. Editable poly. I'm just going to select these edges here. Okay, go a little shift, just drag it up one more time. Create an extra additional edge here. So you know what? I don't want to do that. Let's grab these guys. Actually, remove that. Never mind about doing that. We just want to keep it straightforward here from the one edge, and then we're just going to chamfer here to give it a nice tapered. Soften this up. This will give us a nice little background gradient. So I'm just going to add some segments to that. We'll get something like this. Okay, that's looking good. Just going to bring the backdrop down a bit, so it's floating on the space here just a bit. Now, let's get a position going here. And then what we're going to do here is just drag off the base material, and we're going to call this BG for background. We're going to drag it in, right? And then we're just going to want to make it pure white. So we're going to just bring some roughness up just so we get the reflections out of there. And now we got something that we can, so I don't think we need too much of this. Let's just zero it out. We don't have to worry about the roughness right now at this point. Let's just focus on the rest of the ring itself and the materials that we're applying to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the top view here, and we can now bring out our text tool here. We're going to actually use, let's see here, we're going to go for the text plus, and what we're going to do is just type in, let's just see, 120, better yet, let's do 1:30 p.m. I don't know, just a guess. Just rolling the dice with this one. And then what we're going to do now is just try to find a font that will look good for, I don't know, for the text itself for our time. So maybe something like this. That looks pretty good. Nice and bold. Okay, so we're just going to remove the PM part for now. Then we're just going to try to get it in place here, and we'll just see here, we can scale it down a bit. I'm going to get a rough size here. Something like this. We can rotate it to be equal snap 90 degrees. So we've got to bring this in position. Okay, so once we have this in position like this, we have it kind of resting on that inside face there. Now we can just copy this over, hold shift and drag. Okay, so you get a second one here, and then we can just change this to say PM. And then we're going to just, we'll just scale it this way. This is actually the way you want to scale it. And instead of using the scale tool like I did in the 130 part, but it's okay. So you can bring it in like this. Just kind of get that more centered now with the PM in there. And then we're just going to drag the 130 part out again. And at this point, what we're going to do is put in our date. Okay, something, let's see here. Something like, let's see, Wednesday, 14th of October. Okay, and then we're just going to size that down. And now what we can do is drag it up and get it above the 130 and kind of have it nice and subtle in there. Let's take a look at the spacing here. Obviously, we got to do some adjustments here. We're going to bring these guys all down in the center a little bit more. Yeah, there's probably so much you can do with these smart rings. They're going to have so much different data on here. This is just the time for now. There's so much other options that you can display here, but this will work for this tutorial. So we're going to look at trying to get this thing in place here somewhere where it feels natural. Okay, above the 130, and that looks pretty good. Okay, and if we unhide our glass piece, now we can see it's in there, and it's not lit up, but we have something nice and working here. Okay, so let's get a material applied to this. So we're going to go down into our standard surface shader. We're going to create, let's going to call this, let's go with glow 1, because we're going to have multiple ones glowing here. It's different types of the fonts between the date and time. So we'll apply this to, let's try to grab our font here. There you are. Oh, so do that. Apply it back. There we go. I'm going to do that with the PM as well. Okay. So we're just going to remove the base color, set it to 0. Same with the specular. We don't need that. We just are going to be focusing on the emission. Where are you? That's transmission. What am I doing? Let's get out of here real quick. Oh no, it's down here. I got lost here. Okay, emission 100. Let's see, 100. I'll give us a start for now. All right, so we get a little bit of illumination going here, and maybe I'll bring it down to 50. This is we're gonna have to play with this as we get more towards our final render here. But for now, that's gonna work for us. All right, let's just do like 10. I don't want it to be too strong. I just want to get a color in first, and then I can actually dial it back up. So if we're getting in like we're going for like an orangish color. I'm using a red. This is pretty bright. I don't know. Let's see. Darken that up. We're going to get our color back in. So there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment here that we're going to have to do between bloom and the intensity of the material itself for the emissions. So we'll get back into that after. Because now also when I do put the lens back or the screen back on, it's also acting as a filter. It's going to darken our emission a bit too as well. So we got to keep that in consideration. So if I play with the emission a little bit more and dial it back up a bit, we're going to get past that. But now you can actually see there's a reflection in there as well. So what that's doing is it's bouncing off the top part of the glass and bouncing back into the bottom part. So let's go over here and take care of that. So we don't want that happening. That's giving us kind of a parallax effect here. So we'll have to address that. Alright, so I mean, I could tell this piece to not take in any reflections. No, let's not do this. So we got this parallax effect happening here. So when I moved up our font, you can see right there we have that reflection happening. So that's just only because we have the body material applied to that bottom face. So we're gonna just have to separate that panel. And so I grabbed the faces of that and detached it and made it have its own to be its own element. And then we just get rid of the reflection completely, and now we are going to be okay. So we're not going to have that parallax effect anymore because we don't have any reflection applied to the bottom now. So you can see in here it's completely dark. So there's our font up top. I just have to move it up for a minute just to show you what was happening there. So let's grab these guys and remove, actually I'm going to remove that guy, grab these, all of them, and let's bring them down until it gets back down to the bottom. So, alright, and then hide. There we have it. Okay, there's no refraction going on, which is good. So now we're just going to apply a material for the date, and I'm going to go with a red for that one. So we can just let's go back up. Okay, so just want to grab a copy of this, and let's now go more towards darker red and apply it. It's strange. There we go. Okay, so let's bring down the emission a bit so we get more red in there. I don't want it close to the color of the 130, so we're just trying to keep the value a bit lower here. So yeah, we got something like this. It's looking cool. It's looking believable. Alright. And then what else can we get going here? I think that was now got a nice, really nice rounded edge there off the corner. Just inspecting a little bit here. This is looking really cool. Actually, I do want to add some detail here. Okay, because we are getting close to being finished. So bear with me here. I want to select some edges here. And the reason why this is not happening is because we got to be into, let's see here. Yeah, remove that symmetry. There we go. And select, hide the symmetry. And now let's grab these edges here. And we're going to ring all the way around. And then hold Control and click on the face mode. And you get this. Okay, you get it all selected. Now what we can do is get the control of this part. So we're going to detach this element so it's separate. Okay, get that its own piece. Turn all this guy's back on, and this guy's going to need all the treatment. Actually, all it really needs for this is the open subdivision. So let's grab this one and copy it. We're going to come over here and paste it as an instance. All right. So it's going to be now all matched and combined with, almost you can't even tell that it's separate. So that's good. So what we can do now that we have this separated, we can now apply its own material to this, and that's going to give us that nice kind of finishing touch details to the band part. Alright, so let's apply a standard surface. That actually looks kind of cool with the light going on around there. But we're just going to make this more of a metal, or like aluminum, something like that, brush metal look. So let's just kind of darken this up. We already kind of got a little bit of a shine to it. Okay, and I'm just going to add some metalness to that as well. Let's bring up the roughness and try to get something a little bit more with a highlight. Okay, yes. So what I want to do next is we want to go focus on this gloss material. Alright, so I just want to add a little bit of roughness into the base part of it. That's beyond the coat. So I'm going to just go down and find the coat layer here. Oh, I gotta go down. There we go. And just, we're going to take it out for now, and we're just going to focus on the base. So what I'm going to do is bring up a little bit of the roughness so it starts to scatter the reflections a bit. We're going to darken that up and get something more this way. That's fine. Leave it like that, and then bring back in the code. Just want to see that with, if I hit 1. So now we get a little bit of some realism to that as it scatters that light a bit in beyond the code. Something like almost like what I do with the car paint shaders. It's pretty much softening the inner base color or base highlights, if you will. Just softening it up a bit before I apply the glossy coat on top. So now what we just got to do now is focus on getting a little bit of bump map to the surface itself, so it kind of looks more like it would be a glossy plastic or metal. You can have just a little bit of bump map to it. So we're going to apply a bump 3D map and just plug this guy in. Okay, I'm just going up. Let's get rid of this or hide that. And now we can actually see what we're doing. Let's go to our size and bring that down until we start to see the noise come through. So if we go to 1 and we dial this way back down, start to play with the bump map a bit so that we can get some finer details here. And so now you can see we got that. And then what I could do is play with a couple things here. I can actually, let's see, bring this out, and I'm going to add in a range node. We're going to keep what we have so far here, so this remains attached. And yeah, get out of the way. We're going to grab this guy here and our noise, and we're just going to come down to, or sorry, our range. We're going to bring our output down as well till we get something kind of with some breakup. But I want it very subtle, but it's just enough to kind of get a little bit of distortion in there. So now this is very fine because we brought our size of our noise down to 0.05, but we can also now come in maybe even to, yeah, let's see, our output, we can bring it 0.003. Let's see what that looks like. That's good. And then just come over here. I can even bring the bump height down to like 0.3, and there. So you do see like a little bit of breakup in there, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. I want it subtle, but it just gives some realism there. So when we get those close-up shots, you'll see a little bit of that, okay? So this is looking really, really good. I feel like it's missing a couple of things. Obviously, we need to get a bump map also with this part too as well. And we can do that pretty simple by, let's just bring this 3. I actually want to, just so when we render, we'll bring this down to 2. Let's bring this to 3. Just so we can move around the scene a little bit better, a little more optimized. I'm going to leave that the way it is. Okay, and then what we got to do now is focus on getting our bump map applied to our band part here, okay? So what we're going to do is just hold shift and drag over these nodes to the normal slot here, and that's going to apply now to this guy. And we're just going to do a quick subtle adjustment to get the size a little bit more to our liking for this part. Okay, so let's take a look here. Just going to remove that UVW map. We don't need it. Trying something earlier. We're going to bring up our max a bit more so that we can see these details come through, and there we go. So you can actually see after we clear our denoiser a bit here, we can start to see those details come in. We're going to get something a little bit more softer like this by upping our scale, the noise. Maybe I'll just bring the seed at the middle. Okay, so what I want to do here is just bring up our specular a little bit, and then let's just dial back a little bit of our roughness so we can get some highlight. Okay, now we can really see our bump map here, and it's a little bit extreme. So let's go in. I'm going to change that to fractal just to get some variation. And let's bring down our max output a bit. Okay, maybe like the 0.8. Let's have a look. Just let that refine a bit more. Maybe that's a little too low. 0.01 should probably give us the result we're looking for. I think that will do. Yeah. So now what I want to do for our finishing touch of everything here, I just want to add a detail in the inner part of the ring. So I'm thinking like just kind of adding a little bit more of like a, just like, I don't know, like an edge that goes around that's going to be like a silver or aluminum. Something, just some type of detail that just kind of helps us out with it all and just adds that finishing touch. So let's just bring in, if I say ring the whole selection all the way around and connect this edge here. So now we're going to have this part here where we're going to select that edge and hit ring and control. Where are you here? Let's just bring this over here. Okay, control and select your face, holding control. And then we're going to extrude it out by local normal and bring it, just dial it actually inwards. Okay. Let's see here. You can add a plus to that just to add an extra edge. Okay. I'll just leave that at 1. And let's check it off. Now we just have to remove. Let's see here. Let's just take these guys here. Same ring. Let's detach. Or delete. And there we go. I just gotta like now fix this part here. Okay, just drag it in. Oh, it looks like we're missing a piece here. Hold on a minute. Undo. Oh, I see what happened. Okay, so we were selecting those edges. We don't want to do that. We just want to grab these guys. Okay. Delete it out. Same with up here. Now that's going to stop the loop, so we can now ring, select, detach completely that whole piece. There we go. Now notice something here is strange happening. We're going to fix that in just a minute because one of our there we go. So I had to turn our symmetry and everything back on. But yeah, right to oh yeah, that's because our symmetries. I gotta make sure that's on. Okay, so unhide that. That will fix that issue. That was a little scary at first, but it's alright. We managed, we got through it. Okay, let's just push that guy up, just so that these guys weld together. we're going to have to do that with the outer body part here too. The edge is sunken in, so that's just because it needs to be pushed in as well. So we'll grab all of these guys. Let's remove that edge there. Oh, I see what's happening here. We have all these guys. No problem. Just bring it out like that. Boom. That should snap nice. Alright. So that should look pretty good all the way around now. Makes more sense. So we're going to give this its own material. Okay, we're going to use that same material that we used for the framing there, where it's that kind of like aluminum metallic look. We're just going to drag it over. Oops, that's not the right material. Yeah, no. I'm going to go over here, select this. There we go. Okay. Select that. Here we go. Apply. There we go. Now we made it. We did it. Looks good. Just gave us some little bit of detail there from the. So if we had it from this angle, you can actually see it. Just kind of adds a little finishing touch. And I think this is going to work. Yes. I think now what we just have to do is add in our button here that I was talking about earlier. We're just going to add it as a separate piece. We're not even going to do any cuts or anything like that because it's just going to go on the one side. I'm just going to sink it in. But this should be pretty straightforward. So you just need to go over to the rectangle spline tool and we're going to drag something out roughly in here. Okay, we can always adjust later. I'm going to convert this to an editable spline. We're going to bring our points mode up and we are going to go in and fillet these corners. I don't know if I want it about 100%, but maybe just slightly round these corners off and then straightens out here. Right? I know that one actually looks to me like based off the reference images all around, but it's going to give it a little bit, square it off a bit for this build. Alright, so now that we're in we add our extrude modifier to this guy, we can now start to get some geometry going here. Actually, do we have a... No, it doesn't have it. Okay. That's alright, we don't need it. We don't need it. We'll just use our extrude tool for now, and I can create bevels. I just thought maybe there was an option. I forget what tools are in there these days. Anyway, let's go to the inset button and apply some inset. This. Okay, we'll check this off and bring it up. So now we're going to get a bevel. That's pretty straightforward. Okay, I'm going to create an inset here so we get an edge. Okay, it's a little bit what we want. We just need to now, let's see, add this edge here. Let's chamfer that. Okay, so right now we got one segment in there. That will give us some roundness. But yeah, actually we do want that because I wanted to create a light here. So this element will be our LED or light for nighttime so we can actually see the button if we're in the dark. Okay, I'm just gonna, I don't need that at 0. It's okay. I'm just gonna bend this down a little bit, bring it down. Or actually, no, like it up. Alright, so now we got a little bit of an extrusion going on here. And then we can use a push modifier to round that off just a bit. Yeah, something like this. Alright, so now that we have this part all detached, we created an extra edge that goes around, framing the little light ring thing there. So now I detach that and then just chamfer now this area here, okay? So that's all I did off camera there. Just to speed some things up. This is getting to be a lengthy video. But I hope you get the point of what I've done there. So now this element is separated. And now we just add a chamfer there. And then this back part, we just need to now go over and let's select this these edges here. Delete out that back face. Make sure you do that. Hold shift, or actually scale it up a little bit. Like that. Create an edge. Go down, holding shift. Actually, go. And just kind of bring it in X. That. What you do. Something like this. Now we're just going to use the cut tool here just to kind of fix some things up here. I'm not going to worry too much about creating the quads for this, but I just want to kind of just connect some of these guys together here. Because this will still work. Once I apply the open subdivisions, this will still look good when it comes to the topology of things here. Okay. So let's do that actually. Let's just see what we're up against. That looks good. See, it's nice and smooth, no problems. So now we also apply that to our ring light there. Okay, actually if I hold shift and drag up, what we're going to do is I'm going to use this as a, let's see, let's add a push modifier to this and bring it way out. So this is going to be kind of like a glass element, like a piece of glass, not glass, but more of a transparent detail that I want to add here. And that's kind of like that, it almost looks like a rib element that goes around. You'll see in a minute what I'm going to do here, just to give us a little more details. Because the beauty is in the detail. So, let's see here. No. So what I'm going to do here is, because this is uneven, I'm going to go to our topology tool. I love this tool. We're going to just do face count to 1000, and there. Now it evens everything out, and we can now add in our details that we're looking for. So I'm going to go to Editable Poly, select the edge mode, hit ring, okay, select everything here, like so, and then just drag everything. Let's see, I'm going to use extrude edge and just try to get something like a rib effect here. And it's just, it's a little bit, likes to snap here. Okay, there we go. It's better. Okay, and actually what I can do now is round these guys off. So if I was to select both these edges, hit loop, and there you are, and ring, chamfer. And what we're going to do now is get a nice, let's try, so you can see it's very finicky here. Wow, okay. Let's try 0.3. It's too much of an edge, maybe 0.5. Just want to 0.8. There, that's good. Okay. You can see right now that's looking pretty cool. Just wanted something interesting there. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. It'll work. Push modifier just to kind of bring it out maybe a little bit here. Do we need that or no? Let's go see if this is going to work with us here. Nah, I think this is good. Maybe I scale it up a bit. Nope, no. Yeah, no, I think this is good. Okay, so now that we have everything in position here, we can start to apply some material to this button. So I'm just going to use let's see, I'm going to use, let's just actually drag out from here and create a blue light. I'm going to go down to refine the emission. Let's just call this glow 3. And come down to the emission here. Let's bring this down to more, let's bring it up to a blue. Okay, something like that. You see, oh, that's so cool. It's bouncing off the body material there. And then we're just going to apply the body material also to the button, so we get that black. And then this part here, we just want to focus on getting some kind of transparent roughness, transparency to it. So I'm going to try to go down here. Let's create an Arnold surface material here. Drag it over. So right now we've got a gray. We just got to come down to, let's make this black. Specular 0.01 for now. That's going to be pretty transparent, but that's okay. So I'm going to, let's see here, this thin wall. So yeah, actually I'm going to check that on because we're not going to add any shell modifier to this. I'm just going to bring it up, our roughness. Let's see here, let's get this more into a gray tone. And now let's just bring this roughness up quite a bit. So you're starting to see it, we're starting to get that. But now if I bring, let's bring the transmission down a bit, we're going to start to get some of that gray come in from our color. And, oops, let's go, it just doesn't want to, let's try that again, 0.5. It's starting to get there. 0.8. Now we're getting a little bit of shine going. It's kind of neat. 0.2. Yeah, that should do it. 0.2. It's got a nice little bit of a highlight there for now. I think this is going to work. That button looks cool. Yeah. Alright, so now we're going to just move up the floor a bit so we get a bit of a shadow. I was going to have it floating, but now I just wanted to kind of be resting almost against the ground there, just maybe a little bit of a space there. And we're just going to bring over, let's see here, start to kind of get an idea of what we want to visualize here and what we want to see for our final resting spot for the camera. Let's okay, let's get this background to be more dark. So I select its material. We're going to get something like this. So it's going to give us that nice little bit of grayness that we were looking for, because then we can now start to add our Arnold light, which is going to now bring up a lot of the brightness of the diffuse of our background as well. So I actually really like that orthographic look there. But anyways, let's grab this light here. And we need to see what's going on here, and everything looks good. I believe, okay, this is good. We're Kelvin. Let's put that on for a minute here, and let's bring up our exposure quite high. Okay, and what's happening is we've got our spread, so if we bring our spread down, we're going to start to sharpen up that light. It's going to give it more of a spotlight look the more we bring that down. And our exposure too as well, we can play with this kind of get something looking cool. Like that's already looking really, really nice. We're gonna bring up our size a bit to about 100, and then once we do that, we're gonna allow the light to be a little more intense. But you can see we got this hard shadow here. That's not too bad. If I bring, see if I float that, it doesn't really look too good. I like it to be resting on the ground. Bring up the roughness, our light, and you can see the differences with the soft edge. We're going to get more harsh of a light. So let's our density of our shadow. Do we like it to be completely 100%? I do like it at 1. Okay, let's keep it at 1. This is fine. I don't mind this. We're just seeing if I could soften that shadow up a bit. But that would mean I'd have to bring my light up, but I'm okay with where it is right now. So with the Kelvin, let's bring this, keep bringing this thing up. There we go. Let's get this number more. Oh boy, it's just the way you maxed. So for some reason I can't get the numbers in here. It's a little bit buggy there. But anyways, okay, I got it to about 8,000. And that's going to give us a little bit of a blue tint. And you know what? If I just drag this light over towards more like this, get it more of an angular lighting setup, our shadow's going to kind of stretch that way, which actually doesn't look too bad. And then bring our diffuse down a bit so we're not lighting everything up, but we're keeping everything else, our specular. So we bring it down, we lose a lot of those highlights. We'll keep it probably about 100%. Already this is looking really dramatic. It's already looking very clean and a nice simple studio setup. So copy this light over, and just now we're going to use this light here as kind of an additional light to highlight some of our speculars. So I've zeroed out our diffuse for this one, and I'm just going to take target mode off and just kind of place this roughly in an area where we can start to pick up some reflections and highlights. You can see it starts to work. Let's get our camera in place here. Okay, every time you apply a camera, you're going to get the exposure thing going on here. I'm just going to turn it off for these purposes now, and I just want to get this in place roughly in here. Center this a little bit more. Right now we are everything's a little bit hot, so we're going to dial back everything here in just a moment. Okay, so just going to select everything here. Select the entire ring. Let's make sure we don't have our light selected. So yeah, everything's moving here. That's good. Oh, besides that bottom guy. Nope. We don't want the target of the light to be included here. Select all of these guys. There we go. And so now I'm just going to come over here, just group this real quick. Okay. Just so I can get some placement going. I'm going to copy over one just for fun. You don't have to do this. I just like to add an additional one to show a different angle of the product. And what we're going to do is, I know our pivot's a little bit wonky here, so that's okay. I can work with this. Let's just center that. Yeah, you can see it's got a little bit of a, that's alright. I'm not going to reset anything. I'm just going to get this in place, roughly in place of where I want it to be. So. Just going to angle this a certain way here. Just bring it over. And then if I go underneath, I can see what it's doing here. As you can see, it's a little bit, yeah, it needs to come up. Maybe to the side a bit. So we're just seeing a little bit of that bottom of the ring there. I don't know, something like that. So if I rerun our render view. Alright, so now that I got everything in place here, we can go up to this top light here. And I just want to dial this back a bit. It's pretty hot, so let's go exposure to 1. And there, we start to get that nice little highlight in the corner. But I noticed that you know, some of the material is a little bit gray there on that band. So I'm going to address that in just a moment too, but just going to get the lights a little bit in place here. Let's see, go to this one here. If I was to move this around, you can see I'm just kind of focusing on that one corner of our left ring, and just want to try to get a nice little highlight going on there into the glass. And I also want to bring it just slightly above so we can start to kind of get a nice fall off to the top part of that. There we go. We start to see that light kind of just fold around and wrap up into the top part of the glass, which gives us a feel for surface there. There is a surface there. And then also I'm going to copy that light back over and do one more additional lighting. So we can grab it here. There you are. Let's just kind of get this in place. Okay. Something like this. You already can see we're starting to get a little bit of reflection there. And that's just going to kind of give us a little bit of a backlight there. So something like that. Yes, that's what I was looking for there. A little bit of an edge lighting going on, and it just falls off on the top of that surface. It just looks like it's nice and glossy. Gives it that nice iPhone ad look. Alright, so let's darken this band part up a little bit more. I don't think it should be that gray. So I'm just going to bring the specular down a little bit. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, we got something like this. Okay, and then what we can do is go into our camera settings here. And what can we do here? Something with the perspective. No, let's not touch this. Let's not touch it. Let's leave it. Leave it for now. I could explain more of that perspective setting in another video. Okay, so we're going to go to our enable depth of field. Let's enable that. Let's go aperture 1.5 or so. I think we're getting a nice softness there. I didn't really work on the scaling of this, which I should have done, but that's okay. We're going to have to exaggerate it a bit here for this one. I usually like working in real world scale, and I didn't do it for this. I wanted to actually do that, but I forgot. So we are already this far down in our render, so I am just going to leave it. Okay, so we'll bring this up, just kind of back this up a bit. Select our background here. Let's just darken it a bit. Make sure we get some roughness. We want a little bit of gloss, but I don't want that gloss to come in towards the back where it's on the top part of our frame. So I just got to be aware that there's no reflections there. So we dial this way back. You get something like this. Okay, so 0.2. Now I would go with, you still see it there. I'd say bring it back to about 0.5. Yeah, that should do. Alright, so I think we're ready to get a render going here. And let's do that and finalize this tutorial. Let's give her a go. Alright, now we finished rendering out our rings here, and this is our final result. I've went ahead and just added in some lens effects just to get some bloom going here. But other than that, this turned out really nice. This is a pretty nice product shot to show these the details off. As you can see, we got a little bit of that bump map that we've added in here, some of that little extra detail here that went around the band. Our lights looking pretty good there. This little glass piece, everything came together pretty well. So that will conclude this video tutorial, and I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something from this, and you can go ahead and try to create your own, or just hope you've learned something from the process of building one of this ring and learn some of the techniques. Alright guys, thanks very much for watching, and stay tuned for more RenderSpaz videos. And I will also be working on my website as well, RenderSpaz.com, where I'll be pretty much building it from the ground up and bringing back some of my premium products coming shortly. So stay tuned for that as well. Alright guys, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you again.